Hey all, Binks here. Pool 5 is coming and it is coming soon. These Pool 5 cards are unbelievably rare, but they have incredibly unique and game-changing effects. I'm so excited to try decks with these. What I'm going to show you today is my day one, either most fun or what I think is going to be the best deck for whenever I unlock any of these cards. Super excited to share this with you. Let me know in the comments down below which Pool 5 card you are most excited for, and send me your deck list too, because I'm always looking for new ideas. If you enjoy this content, make sure to hit the like button. Please subscribe for more daily Marvel Snap content, and catch me live at twitch.tv/Binks_plays. Enjoy. First off, we have Bast, a 1 energy, 1 power card with on reveal, set the power of all cards in your hand to 3. It's a really powerful effect. If you even just have 1 0 cost card in your hand, you don't have too many things over 3. Just getting a single 0 cost up to 3. It's kind of a 1 energy 4 power card. So a lot of great things there. Obviously, you want to fit Bast into a deck where none of your cards really have high power, because be super huge as an investment to maybe bump a couple things up, but then knock something out from maybe like 12 power to 3, right? Then you're just never going to play that card. So there's a lot of use cases for Bast. I think that you can do some really simple ones, which is kind of some low power curve decks. Maybe fit Bast into a turn after you play one of your higher power cards. I think it works great in really greedy Mr. Negative decks. So if like hits Mr. Negative, for instance, +4 power, right? Huge power swings, but a lot of things are going to have pretty low power and high cost. So being able to up those to 3 as their base level makes just playing the kind of regular version and not the flip version feel a lot better. The deck I'm most excited for, though, is Cerebro 3 with Bast. So the way that I would build Cerebro 3 with Bast and how I'm going to start with it is going to be just keeping it really simple. We're not going to take any cards that are higher than 3 and bring them down, because I feel like that adds a level of inconsistency that you don't want with these decks. But we are going to fill it with, the 0 power Adam Warlock, the 0 power Iron Man, Cerebro, and Mystique. If we can just get 1 or 2 of these cards up to 3 power, the Bast is absolutely going to pay for itself. Bast on 1 into Adam Warlock on 3, you kind of get to choose where to play it, and that Adam Warlock is much more likely to go off. 3 power Iron Man is really strong card. So I think that this kind of version of the list, and not going too crazy with it, with making things that are super high, is going to be the best bet. And I'm super excited to play Cerebro 3 once Bast comes around. Next up, we have Valkyrie, a 5 energy 3 power. On reveal, set all cards at this location to 3 power. So both on your opponent's side and your side, it's going to transform the power of all of those cards to 3 power. So, if the lane is even, all considered, you can just kind of like automatically tie that lane. If you have some way to buff it, there are cards like Angel and things like that, you can most likely win that game. A lot of people are also thinking about Valkyrie and Cerebro 3. Lots of different things there. We've actually been teased Valkyrie a long time, so people have been toying around with this card for a while. It was supposed to be the second Nexus event card, which I'm sure everyone is happy that didn't happen. My personal thoughts on Valkyrie is that she's not going to be very good. I think that 5 energy is a huge cost. Over the course of 6 turns, you only have 21 energy to use, so spending 5 of that energy on a card like this, I think is just not going to be as effective as a lot of people think it is. I think that, a card like Iron Man is much better at like giving you a great chance to win a lane, as opposed to something like Valkyrie. I am happy to be proven wrong, but I think that she's going to be tried in a lot of Cerebro 3 lists. I think that she's going to be tried in a lot of different lists to make her work, and eventually she's just going to kind of turn into a very niche tech card. But let's talk about Cerebro 3 if she does see some play there. So the Cerebro 3 list would be pretty similar to the Bast list, and obviously Bast would also be included in there. We definitely really want to go for the long game with this to try and kind of up those cards. And if we do have the Cerebro effect, Valkyrie will change all of our cards to 3, but then they'll get buffed up by Cerebro. So Valkyrie is pretty much a lane winner in that list. Maybe Iron Man could be your other one, but really hard to fit both of those in, as well as a lot of 3 drops, as well as Cerebro, as well as Mystique, even if you're getting the magic in. So that's why I think it's going to have some troubles, but I'll definitely try and fit her into Cerebro 3 whenever I unlock her. And I'm happy to hear down in the comments below if you think I'm wrong and that Valkyrie is actually going to be really good. Next up, we have the incredible Galactus, a 6 energy 3 power card with on reveal. If this is your only card here, destroy all other locations. I'll go ahead and roll the animation for you. I know you want to see the animation. This card is awesome. I have had the chance to get it sometimes on random locations in Triskelion. The animation's crazy, the flavor's crazy. I think that this card is going to be out of control. When you're building a Galactus deck, the idea is going to be to try and play Galactus a little bit early. surprise your opponent, and then play cards that can win you that lane by themselves. You can also do some really smart things in getting some cards to those other lanes that will actually benefit you when Galactus destroys everything. So my galactic list for day one is going to revolve around trying to use all the ramp cards available to us to get Galactus a turn early. So we have Psylocke, we have Wave, we have Electro, everything that can potentially get it on turn 5 or turn 4 we have out there. We have things like Green Goblin and Hobgoblin to try and play into that Galactus lane to give us a immediate impact of having them already either be in the negatives or a little bit behind when we get that Galactus down. We have cards like Nova that can, you know, add power to everything. Wolverine, if he's played off the Galactus lane, he will jump over into the Galactus lane after Galactus goes and destroys everything. We have some really good like kind of 1v1 cards in Gamora on there. We have a Koye to kind of boost up the rest of our deck, so we have a little bit of a power advantage for those later turns. And then we have Death. You know, there's a chance that literally 9 whole cards die when you play Galactus. There's 8 locations on your side, 8 spots on your side, 8 spots on your opponent's side. They're all going to get destroyed, so if any of those destruction triggers happen, you're going to be able to get that Death for incredibly cheap. I think that Galactus is going to be terrifying on the ladder. I think that it's something that will get kind of work to be able to be played around, and it's not going to be as powerful as some people think. I think it's going to be a really strong, maybe tier 2 or tier 3 deck, and if it ever gets too rampant, there is a lot of counters for it, which is great. But I am so excited to get Galactus as soon as possible and play a ton of it. And we have Shuri, a 4 energy 2 power, on reveal double the power of the next card you play. So very similar to like Black Panther, 5 energy 4 power that doubles itself. Shuri you're going to want to play down, and then it will double the next card. So Shuri has so many cool combinations. You know, she works incredibly well with Wong. You can play Wong, you can play Shuri, and then play a massive card somewhere. There's just lots of different ways that you can really make Shuri absolutely pop. She has an interesting interaction with Odin. If you Odin a Shuri, the Shuri will actually interact with the Odin, so it'll give it 16 power because Odin isn't played until its on reveal is finished. So its on reveal will go, trigger Shuri's on reveal, and then Odin will be counted as played, and then Shuri will actually interact with it. So there are a lot of cool things that are going to happen with Shuri, and I actually have 2 decks for this one. So the very first one, y'all know me, I'm crazy. I like to break the game. The first one is going to be Shuri Exodia. So our aim is going to get 256 Shuri triggers. We're going to do this by getting Onslaught, Mystique, and Wong on a lane. Then we're going to trigger Shuri 256 times. And what I'm most excited to do is get the Hood triggered. So if we trigger the Hood 256 times, you know, I was the very first person to get the 2 billion power top in a single location. I was probably the first person to do it with Black Panther and get it on a single card. Now I want to be the first person to do a card in the negatives in that direction. So we're going to set Hood to the negative integer cap and see what happens. I don't know. It'll break the game. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to see what's going on there. The other more practical deck that we're going to be utilizing with Shuri is going to just be kind of a combo deck that's focusing on getting Wong ideally down on turn 3. So the ideal play path would be Psylocke on 2, Wong on 3. Then we can play Shuri on 4. We play some giant card on turn 5, so we can use things like Arrow, we can use things like Red Skull, anything like that. And then we Odin that Shuri and Wong lane. So if, let's say we get an enormous Red Skull somewhere, we Shuri the Odin's going to trigger Shuri 4 times before being played, and it is going to get up to 64 power. So I really think that this kind of playstyle could be really good. We have magic to kind of extend the game. I think that this Shuri list is going to be really nasty, and I think that you're going to be surprised with how powerful Shuri is going to be. Next we have Super Skrull, a 4 energy 2 power with ongoing, has the ongoing effects of all enemy cards. So the ceiling for this card is insane. If your opponent has like an Iron Man and a, you know, Khazar, and they have an Onslaught, and they have a Blue Marvel, they're all combined into one card with Super Skrull, and you get to steal all of those powers. So I definitely think that the ceiling is really high. However, kind of like Valkyrie, I think that I'm against a lot of people's general opinion here, where I do not think that Super Skrull is going to be that solid of a card. I think that you really need to find specific metas to use Super Skrull. If a lot of people are using, you know, really powerful cards like Blue Marvel and Iron Man, Super Skrull is definitely a great inclusion. But there's sometimes where you're just playing 4 energy for potentially nothing. If your opponent hasn't played an ongoing card by turn 4, you kind of have to fit it in like mana wise to play it on turn 4. You're going to feel really bad, and your opponent can kind of play around it. However, I do think that there's one position where Super Skrull is going to be a really, really solid inclusion, and that is going to be in Mr. Negative decks. So let's pop open our Mr. Negative list here. You can see that there are another Series 5 inclusion in Bast there. I think that Bast is going to be incredible with any Mr. Negative list. As you can see here, let's say you have 3 other cards in your hand and you have Bast. On average, you're getting like +2 on each of those cards. The only card that will negatively affect is Sarah. So Bast, playing it on turn 1 with any Mr. Negative deck is going to be absolutely insane. And getting Super Skrull as a 2 energy 4 power does make it incredible as kind of like a counter and tech card. You see Rogue in this list. Maybe you want to adjust Rogue for something else because you don't necessarily want to steal any of those ongoing abilities because Super Skrull's already going to be copying them. But we do just have kind of a standard Mr. Negative list, and I really think that Super Skrull is going to fit into this list. I don't think that as a standalone card outside of these negative lists, it's really going to see too terribly much play. I think that it's a very interesting card. I'm really excited for the highlights that are going to come with like the most insane Super Skrull you've ever seen. But we'll see. I'm excited to play it in some decks, but don't expect too much of it on the ladder. And finally, we have the most incredible build around card ever printed, the mighty Thanos. A 6 energy 8 power that says at the start of the game, shuffle these 6 Infinity Stones into your deck. Now this deck isn't really worried about Thanos too much. It's really all about these 6 stones. So we're going to, plus 50% to our deck size, which is pretty crazy for consistency. But I think that you'll notice how the stones work is going to play into our favor. So let's check out the stones here. So we have the Mind Stone. On reveal, draw 2 stones to your deck. So 1 energy 1 power, draw 2. Really crazy. Power Stone overstated at 1 energy 3 power. Ongoing, if you played all 6 stones, Thanos has +10 power. So this is kind of like the big payoff. If you get all 6 stones, Thanos ends up being 18 power. I don't think that that's really the reason to run the deck, but it can be a great alternate win condition for sure. We have the Reality Stone, which is a 1 energy 1 power with the Scarlet Witch effect. Transform this location to a new one and draw a card. You'll notice a lot of the stones do have draw a card, which is crazy. The Soul Stone, 1 energy 1 power, on reveal, draw a card. Ongoing, enemy cards here have -1 power. This is why I think the stones are crazy. Like, look at the Soul Stone. If your opponent has a full lane there, it's a 1 energy 5 power, draw a card. That is nuts. That is insane value for a 1-drop card. So I really think that you have to think about this when you're looking at Thanos. Space Stone, 1 energy 1 power. Next turn you can move 1 card at this location, so kind of gives you like a cloak type effect, kind of a little bit opposite, but lets you kind of move some things around. Draw a card, probably one of the weakest cards. And then the Time Stone. The Time Stone is Psylocke, -1 energy, withdraw a card. 1 energy 1 power. On reveal, gain +1 energy next turn, draw a card. Super powerful. So I really think that the stones are the reason to play the Thanos deck as opposed to Thanos himself. And the deck that I'm going to be playing is kind of a Bounce Bros style list that is going to just take advantage of having all of these really efficient and cycling 1-drop cards. So we have Quinjet, which is going to make all the stones cost 0. If you get that down on turn 1 with a Thanos deck, you're going to be going buck wild. Angela, obviously going to get the power of playing the stones on top of her. Psylocke to maybe just give us a little bit more flexibility, get mana check out a little bit earlier, Thanos out. We're going to need extra energy as we're playing through these cards. The Collector, which is going to work with our bounce package of Beast and Falcon to be able to replay these 1-cost cards. They all draw a card, so like cycling through your deck is not going to be that hard with Thanos as you might expect. Having the board space to deal with it is going to be a little bit tough. I might run Carnage in a list like this eventually to be able to kind of have a little bit more board space to deal with, but you can cycle through the stones a lot quicker than you think. Koei to buff all those cards up. Armor to protect our ongoing Power Stone. Probably going to switch that with Carnage, I think, when I initially play this. We're going to kind of seal test them both out. Bishop, which is going to get huge and out of control if we can get it down early. Bizarre to give all those stones +1 power. Magic to extend the game and hopefully make sure we keep cycling and get more cards on our hand. And of course the mighty Thanos to hopefully get to 18 power to win one of those lanes. Thanos is going to be super awesome. We have been teased and had this card held out like a carrot on a stick for far too long, and Thanos is probably the #1 card I'm going to go after and try and make him work. Thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below which Pool 5 card you're most excited for. And I hope the luck is in your favor when the token shop drops. Thanks out. Make sure to subscribe. Watch that one too.